All right, so you've been asking about the world of private funds, and today we're really going to dive deep into how Goji and Euroclear are shaking things up, creating a global network, no
Yeah.
less. Pretty ambitious stuff.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, we're talking about connecting those with capital year investors to, well, those who need it, the asset managers.
On a global scale, that's a big deal, right?
Huge. It could really change how this whole market works, in terms of scalability and growth. We're talking about a pretty big ecosystem here, too.
Yeah.
Asset managers, fund administrators, distributors, the whole shebang.
Okay, so before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's break it down. For those of us who maybe don't have MBAs, what exactly are we talking about when we say private funds? I know it's not just your typical stock market stuff.
Right, right. Think of it this way. You're essentially becoming a limited partner in a specific investment strategy. It's not about picking individual stocks. You're kind of backing an entire fund.
Okay, so less about like day trading and more about long-term investment in what specific industries or projects or something.
Yeah, exactly. Private funds can invest in a whole range of things: real estate, private companies, venture capital, debt, even big infrastructure projects, stuff that's not usually available on the public markets.
Gotcha. So why all the buzz about Goji and Euroclear? Where do they fit into all of this?
Well, they're aiming to solve a big problem in the private fund world at Access. Historically, these funds have been, well, kind of exclusive. You need to be pretty wealthy, high net worth individuals, institutions, that kind of thing.
Ah, so they're breaking down the walls, making it easier for, well, everyday investors to get involved.
That's the goal. They're building a network that streamlines the entire investment process.
Okay, I'm definitely intrigued. Can we unpack that a bit? Like, who are the players involved, and how does this whole network actually work?
Sure, sure. Imagine like a three-legged stool. You've got your asset managers, right? They're the ones calling the shots, researching and selecting the investments. For them, this network means reaching a much larger pool of potential investors. Way easier to raise capital.
Makes sense. So it's like giving them, I don't know, more fishing rods or something, wider net.
Exactly. Now, the second leg of the stool, that's your fund administrators. They handle all the nitty-gritty accounting, compliance, investor reporting, all the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Essential, but not exactly glamorous.
Uh-huh, right. But for them, being part of this network is a big selling point. Shows they're on the cutting edge, attracts more clients, helps them stand out.
Makes sense. So who's our third leg?
Ah, that would be the distributors. They're the bridge between investors and the funds themselves. They kind of help investors navigate the network, find the right funds for their needs, and risk tolerance.
So almost like financial advisors with like insider access to all these private funds?
Yeah, you could say that. The whole point is to make the process more efficient, more transparent. Benefits everyone involved.
Okay, and now let's talk about Goji, specifically the tech behind it.
So this is where things get really interesting. Goji is all about digitization. Their platform powers the whole network. They've gone and digitized just about every step of the process: investor onboarding, subscriptions, capital calls, distributions, reporting, everything.
So no more mountains of paperwork, no more waiting weeks for things to get processed.
Exactly. And what's even cooler is that they've integrated their platform with Euroclear's existing fund network.
Now, Euroclear, that name rings a bell. Remind me what they do again.
Oh, they're huge. They've been around for ages. Think of them as like a global clearinghouse for funds, handling trillions of dollars in transactions every year. Some of the biggest institutions in the world use them.
Ah, okay. So by teaming up with them, Goji's tapping into this like pre-existing infrastructure.
Exactly. And it's massive. Over 2,000 distributors, 900 asset managers, all within the Euroclear ecosystem. That's a lot of reach, a lot of potential connections.
Wow. Okay, so all this tech is impressive, but why this? Why is Goji zeroing in on this specific area, private funds?
Well, there's a huge and growing demand for it, right?
Yeah.
Investors are looking for alternatives, something beyond the stock market, and private funds can offer that. Higher returns, diversification, access to unique strategies.
But it's been hard to get in on the action until now, right?
Right. It used to be this exclusive club, but Goji's changing the game.
Yeah.
They're making private funds more accessible, and they're doing it at a time when demand is skyrocketing. It's smart.
Really smart. But of course, we can't forget the people behind all this. No amount of fancy tech can replace, good old-fashioned human expertise. So how's Goji building their team?
They're definitely putting together an A-team. They're looking for the best of the best in tech, in finance, and operations. They want people who are passionate, who are collaborative, who really want to push the boundaries of the industry.
Sounds like an exciting place to be. But we've covered a lot of ground here: private funds, Goji, Euroclear, the tech, the people. What's the takeaway for our listeners? What does all this actually mean for them?
Well, the world of private funds, it's changing. It's opening up, and that's a big deal.
It means you don't need to be a millionaire to potentially get involved anymore,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And that leads to some pretty interesting questions. How will this network evolve? Will we see even more investment opportunities become available? Could this truly democratize private markets? It's all up in the air, really. Exciting stuff.
It really is. It feels like we're witnessing a major shift in how people invest. And hey, if you're curious to learn more, Goji's website is a great place to start. Who knows, maybe you'll even become a part of this network.
And that's all the time we have for this deep dive. Thanks for listening.